Hi there.
Hello.
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 I don't think we've officially started yet.
Okay.
Bonjour. All right. Welcome to the April 14th, if I got the date right, meeting of the School Building Committee. Jeremy is remote. He will still perform all of his same duties. And I can see from everyone who's here that we have a pretty good attendance, at least have a quorum for sure. But as always, we need to start with the roll call to establish who's here. So, Jeremy?
All right. Dave.
Here.
Jason.
Here.
Lori. Jackie.
Yes.
Jerry. Kelly.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Ed.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Rob.
Jeremy, I am here, and I don't know if you heard Jerry, but he is here. I don't know if he was muted when you called his name.
I did not. Thank you, Rob. I will mark him as here. Steve. Mike. Andrew. Gail. Jack.
Here?
And Paul. All right.
The mayor not here?
No, the mayor's not here.
Okay, then I will preside. So we have a quorum, and then first order of business, Jeremy sent out the minutes from March 10th. Anybody have any questions or comments or corrections? Hearing none. Jackie?
Move to approve.
Terry?
Second.
Thank you. Jeremy?
All right. On the minutes, Dave.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
All right. That's everyone.
Passes unanimously. Okay, has Steve Johnson joined us? Steve has not. Mary Ann, do you have a way to get in touch with him?
Yes, I do. Let me make a call right now.
Okay. It looks like Steve Johnson has joined us. At least I see on the lineup on the right side.
I am here.
Ah, there you are.
Yes. Funny thing about computers, if you don't plug them in, the battery dies.
Yeah, so Steve, we have done the preliminaries and it's now your show.
Okay. We'll start with the construction update then.
Very good.
We'll share my screen. Okay, so if everyone can see that.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is obviously the view from the back. Items of note here. I think we talked last month about all these windows, permanent windows are in, but now we have glass in. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Glass is in, and this staging is set up and getting ready for metal panel that's going to go in all these gray areas that you see here. And then if we flip over to building A, same thing. We've got permanent windows, permanent glass, the masonry's done, and then metal panel will be next, as is this area here. This gets metal panel as well. So our metal panel sub will basically start and work their way across. Other items of note back here is just continued exterior framing in different areas to help close the building in. And if we look down here, the mason has started installing block back along the south side of the building here. And then they completed the masonry and the block over at the west end of the building. And then there are some units that have started to be placed on the building. These are small condensing units right now, and these are some curbs for the larger units. They're actually starting to install those today. I don't have any pictures, but they're actually still doing it tonight when I left. So next month, we'll actually see some large rooftop units up on the ABC roof here, which is
So
exciting.
Steve, we have a crane back on site now, correct?
We do, yep. View from the west, again, just showing some more progress with the masonry around this is the future loading dock that we're looking at here. More complete masonry over down on this end. That's probably the exciting stuff for this shot. And then on the east end, similar masonry all complete, closing the building in even more. On the east side, closest to the existing school. And then everyone's favorite view from the front. A lot of good progress here. You'll see this is permanent glass that's going in these units. And then if we zoom in a little closer, when we see the white, that's the snap trim and the covers that go on the curtain wall. And then down here on the first floor, same thing. That's permanent trim there. So that's almost like a complete unit. And these gray strips, again, will be metal panel. They'll eventually work their way around here. And then the plywood is where we load the building in. So that'll be done last. But a lot of good progress. A lot of the masonry you'll see is done. They're installing some metal trim that goes on top of the roof all around the perimeter of A, B, and C. But the masonry is just about done. You'll see they still need to wash down some of it and clean it. But the bulk of it is just about complete. So this elevation's really starting to come along. And then as far as interior work, this is the 4th floor mock-up lab. It is furthest along. You'll see this is lab casework. This is permanent lab casework with the countertops. Ceiling grid is in, sprinkler heads, starting to look more and more finished. We've got grills in the ceiling. The lights are on site and they're going to start to go in. So we'll be able to show those next month as well. So good progress on the 4th floor, the casework, painter, ceiling grid, all moving along nicely. This is a classroom just across the way. Classrooms aren't as exciting, but good progress is being made. On the 4th floor, we got in each classroom, there's the one accent wall here. Like I said, there's a lot of grid going in. If we bump down, this is just a shot of the corridor. We're going to start tile in the corridors in the next couple of weeks, which is exciting stuff for us. We drop down to, this is the 2nd floor area above. If we spin around, it might give everyone some better orientation. That's the front of the building. So a lot of framing. We've actually started a lot of the drywall on the 2nd floor as well. Down on the 1st floor, we've just about completed framing and a lot of the MEP roof in the ABC building. This is a shot almost standing from the balcony of the auditorium. You can see the catwalks are installed, and there's a lot more block work ready to go here. This is staging with block for all the masonry walls that surround the auditorium. What else is exciting? We've got, this is a view of the first floor, the future marketplace area. You can see the permanent windows in here. A lot of the framing is done down here, and the mechanical rough continues in this area too. This is just a shot from the future automotive area. Why this is exciting is because it's spray fireproofing, and we're almost done with the spray fireproofer, which makes everyone happy because they just make a gigantic mess. So we got a couple of weeks with the spray fireproofer, and then you see they're loading up all kinds of block in this area too for all these exterior walls in the automotive section. And then a shot that makes very few people that aren't in construction excited. But this is a mechanical room. Why is this exciting for us? Because the spray fireproofer is done, and we can start setting the major equipment in here, which is going to start next week. There's months of work that goes into this room based on all the equipment and piping and everything. So it's exciting for us to be able to start this work in the next couple of weeks. A lot of the equipment is already at our subcontractors' yards. It's just a matter of delivering it once we pour some concrete pads. And then I'm not going to end on that. I'll end on this again.
All right, does anybody have any questions on the construction update? You're all just sitting there in awe. Okay, hearing nothing, then Steve, where do you want to go next?
We'll go right to change order 7. We'll follow the agenda. That works for us.
Okay.
So change order 7 has quite a few CRs with it. So we'll just go through them, and then I'll ask for one vote at the end, Jack, if that's okay.
Fine with me.
So real quick, GCR 029 was for interior finish revisions. This was the change to the carpet in the collaboration and teacher planning area. That is $25,796.39. Next, GCR 035 added power requirements for heat trace. So this is just a final coordinated plan for plumbing and exactly which lines need the heat trace. That is $11,275.92. GCR 040 corridor switch coordination with the tile. This again, this is to make sure we didn't have any light switches halfway in the tile, half out. That is a whopping $642.44. GCR 041 service platform. This is to help Jason and the facilities group access the really high ceilings and some critical valves on the first floor. And there's also a access hatch in the slab of the second floor. That is $36,344.34. GCR 045 additional steel supports at operable partitions. Some of the partitions where they stack on themselves at the end needed some additional steel to be able to support them based on the weight. So that is $12,789.75. GCR 046 gym entry clarifications.
Yeah, Steve, I think you missed a number there.
Did I?
Yeah, I think it
Oh,
was 6,000.
$6,009.31 for the steel supports. You're right, Jack.
Yeah.
The next one, gym entry clarifications. It's on the south side. Return some brick from the exterior inside to have the same look and some additional framing. That's the $12,789.75. Item GCR 048, miscellaneous fire smoke damper revisions. This was, some of it had to do with the cafeteria, but In some locations, we needed 2 fire smoke dampers instead of 1. So that's just final coordination at $9,765.35. GCR 052 FEC coordination, that's fire extinguisher cabinet coordination. Some of it, again, had to do with tile. Some of it had to do with adding some per code based on walking distances and exits. And that is a total of $12,794.91. GCR 053 added piping to P98 eye wash stations. This is a coordination of plumbing drawings versus architectural drawings. So piping was required by the plumber. So $20,851.47. GCR 054 added turrets at labs. Similar situation. Architectural showed one thing. Plumbing needed to show additional piping. So that is $46,237.72. And then last, GCR 055, shower trim in area G. There's a fastening flange that's on CMU walls that kind of needs to be covered based on the condition. So that's $6,261.43. So grand total for GCO 07, $188,769.03. And I will mention that all of these were vetted fully by first Consigli and then KBA, Skanska. As a group, we've gone through all of these to make sure that they were correct scope, correct price.
And these were all things that you had given us previews of in previous meetings.
I think maybe the only new one, Jack, was the shower trim one, the last one, GCR 055. But yes, we had talked about the rest.
Okay. So I guess the shower trim is an item that couldn't wait.
It was just one of those that we actually went through it pretty quickly and finalized it.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions on change order number 7? Excuse me. Hearing none, then a motion would be in order. Jackie?
Move to approve.
Terry?
Second.
Jeremy?
All right, change order number 7. Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Steve. Oh, Steve, Mike, or Andrew, Gail. Nobody joined. And Jack.
Yes. Passes unanimously. Okay, Steve, is there anything else in this log that's new that you need to preview for us?
Yes. So there's quite a few, but some of them are just in the preliminary pricing stage, and a couple are actually going to be voided. But we'll go through the new ones if we want to start at number 56.
Okay.
So storefront head attachment revisions. This is a coordination between architectural and structural. The structural drawings showed steel, which the window drawings needed wood to be able to penetrate. So we had to revise the detail a little bit there. So we're working through that with the window sub. Item 57. This is actually going to be voided. We priced up a fence for the drum and field, a particular type of portable fence that wasn't exactly very portable. And the school's going to actually move on to a different option. So
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna call on Bill to talk about this, but let's finish you going through this before we do that.
Yep. So it's a big number. It's 168,000, but that's going to be voided, which is good for the log. Item 58, added electrical at professional development. This was some additional data drops that actually help with remote learning that were added to this area of the building. 59, fiberglass door frame attachment revisions. These are specialized frames that needed more complicated blocking detail that we worked through with KBA. Item 60, miscellaneous added electrical scope. I know that's not very descriptive. There's just a series of small items like power to a sink or a urinal or smoke curtains that just kind of added up over like 4 or 5 different RFIs, little things. Item 61, revised door hardware. This was on the interior of the classrooms, changing from a key to a thumb latch so that all the teachers didn't have to carry around an extra key with them just to be able to lock a door in the event of an emergency. Item 62 was an added ice maker in room D203L per the school's request. Item 63, classroom A417 revisions, just moving the teaching wall from one side of the room to the other side. Item 64, HVAC shop equipment revisions. This is some of the equipment that school purchased through a grant that was also in the project, so the project can credit some of that money back. And then
Yeah, Steve, if I could talk to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, so with that is we're currently going through programming for FF&E for furnishing the school furnitures, fixtures, and equipment. And as we've been going through some of the changes that Steve is talking about that are adds are a result of having to move outlets and some of those and items like that to accommodate the furniture that's being selected, or just revisions, changing in staffing requirements. With this is one of those items where when we were in preliminary, when we designed it, an advisory board wasn't on set up yet. So we designed it a very conservative role. So while this is a large number, we want to caution this number will have adds and minuses to this number as we go through it. So we'll be working to do that, and we've established a venue to not have it just be take all the money and then move it out, so that it can, since it's going to be so many adds and deducts as we go along the process. So I would say don't take this as money in the bank just yet, because we're working to make sure that we accommodate the school's needs educationally from an FF&E standpoint, as technology advances, et cetera, with CTE equipment.
And as I understand it, you and Marianne are working as to how to categorize this so that the state does not take back half of the money, right?
That is
Yeah.
correct. That is correct. We're adding and deducting. We'll probably come pretty close to a wash on this, but the first step was the credit, and then, what are we adding back in as alternatives to what was previously selected.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that in particular? Okay, then go ahead, Steve, to the next one.
The next one is item 65, miscellaneous revisions per coordination. So this is per MEP coordination, mostly on the second floor, working with KBA on some ceiling details, basically just to make sure we fit everything above the ceilings. And then the last item, 66, automotive pass-through window revision, changing from a sliding window to more of a fixed window.
So just for the group's reference.
So again, those are still in the pricing stage, nothing permanent, nothing set in stone that we're ready to present just yet.
Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, just as this is an example of, as we've programmed stuff, that things kind of have a give and take.
Contingency. We did have one contingency transfer that we were seeking approval of.
Steve, Craig was addressing that last item.
Steve, can you hear me? I don't know if he can hear me.
Item GCT 015.
Steve?
I'll just let him keep going.
Steve, can you hear us?
Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Steve?
Did I just go silent?
We can hear you.
But you can't hear us. Craig, could you just finish what you were saying?
Yeah, sure. And some of these that you've seen as Steve was reviewing it are examples of, originally we had a sliding window at automotive, but it was, as part of the programming, it was determined to move forward with more of a solid window with a deal tray, just from a safety and security standpoint. So these are
Okay.
the examples of things being updated and revised as we have additional discussions to outfit the building.
Okay, and Bill Rooney, can you address the issue of the fence, the temporary fencing for what we have been calling the Western Fields, but now will be called the Drummond Street Fields?
Yes, I had to switch devices. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I just hope Steve doesn't talk over me like he did to Craig. So we had some discussions internally about the temporary fencing, and we're very grateful to the design team for coming up with and exclusive of the cost, which again is pretty steep. But what we really focused on in our discussion is the fact that those fields were intended to be multi-purpose fields from the get-go. And we were very concerned that the temporary field product that was being proposed was pretty difficult to move once it was put in place. And so we were worried about giving a perception that it was exclusively a baseball and softball complex during those seasons. And that kind of flies in the face of what the mentality was for having those fields in the first place. And so we decided internally, Superintendent Mark Furtado, Mark Cool, our athletic director, Jack, and myself had a meeting, and we decided to go in the direction of a less expensive and easier to move product, because really what we would like to be able to see happen is we would like to be able to see a baseball game take place on a Friday afternoon, and then Attleboro Youth Soccer show up on Saturday morning and with a couple of volunteers move the fence out of the way and be able to have a full-scale soccer tournament. And then before they leave on Sunday afternoon, put the field back in place ready for baseball on Monday. And so I'll pause there just to see if anybody has any questions before we start talking about the varsity fields.
Just one thing to add, we've priced this out and it looks like it's a little bit less than $12,000, right, Bill?
That is correct.
Which is a far cry from 170 grand. So the way that we were proposing to this committee to acquire this is to have the city or the school department do the acquisition and then charge it to the project rather than going through Consigli and having them go through their subcontractor with the markups. So given the fact that this is more than 10,000 but less than 35, we just need to get a couple of other quotes and we can go ahead and do this. It seems like it's a really good solution because of all the things Bill said. Plus, it can be here in about 2 weeks, and the season starts in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. So that is what we're proposing. And one of the things I thought we would ask for tonight is a vote of this committee to authorize the expenditure not to exceed $12,000. Is that accurate, Bill?
Jack, is there any way that we could maybe just round it off at 15,000 because we're still in the vetting process for that product.
Okay.
And you know, there could be we've asked KBA for their opinion on it, and I haven't gone through all my emails today, so there could be a possibility that maybe we want a product that maybe is a little bit more expensive, but I can't imagine we go over probably 15,000.
Very prudent.
Yeah, that seems fair. I guess a motion would be in order to approve the purchase of temporary fencing for the Drummond Street fields not to exceed $15,000. Jackie, would you make that motion?
To approve.
And
Second.
thank you, Terry. This is the first time people are hearing about this particular solution, so I want to be sure that any members of the committee who have any questions can ask those questions right now. And I know that Dave Sawyer and Mark Furtado, who are part of that discussion, are here, so I don't know if they have anything they want to add.
Jack, no, I would, I think the discussions accurately reflected where we are in this process.
Yeah, I'll just say that we're excited that this is one of those rare occasions where it's a win-win, right? We get a better solution for our problem and it's at a much reduced cost. So we're glad that we put in the time to arrive here.
Anybody have any other questions? Then Jeremy?
All right, on a not to exceed of 15,000 for the fencing. Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Jerry? Jerry, you still here?
He's muted.
Yes, sorry about that.
Thank you. Kelly?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And Jack?
Yes, that passes unanimously. The second part of this is that we have had discussions at our Wednesday meetings that we're going to need some sort of a storage solution, some sort of a Connex box type thing over at the Drummond Street fields, because, for instance, when we take down this fence, as I understand it, there are poles, there are some weights, and then the fencing actually rolls up. So we need to store it somewhere over the winter so it doesn't walk away and doesn't get damaged by the weather. So we have asked KBA to look into that. That just happened today, so they don't have anything to add yet. But I expect that we'll hear from Craig and Joe on a proposed storage solution, perhaps as soon as at our next meeting. Would that be fair, Craig and Joe?
Yes.
Okay. Then phase 3 of this issue. Bill, do you want to talk about the varsity fields on the eastern side?
Yeah. So when those fields, the varsity fields, were first designed, we were not thinking that we were going to have the Drummond Street fields as a part of the equation. And so the thought process for the varsity fields, which are grass, was to make them as multi-purpose as possible. And so for both the softball, the varsity softball field, and for the varsity baseball field, there's only about 1/3 of a permanent fence. And then we would be responsible during baseball season and during softball season to put up something that would complete the other 2/3 of the fence. And now that we have the luxury of the Drummond Street fields and we can play sub-varsity baseball and softball over there, the multi-purposeness, so to speak, of the varsity fields, the grass fields, is less of a priority. And we would like for the varsity fields, softball and baseball, to have a semi-permanent option for fencing to make it more of a symmetrical baseball and softball facility.
And so we have asked KBA to look into what we could do there. Could we install some, sleeves in the ground that poles might go in that could be covered when there were no poles there? What kind of fencing would be available to string between those poles? And once they have some ideas, we can work that through consigli and figure out what we can bring to this group as a solution for those varsity fields. So this is just a preview of the second and third issues, but wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that as soon as the rest of us were earlier this week. So anything else you want to add, Bill, or are we finished with this?
I'm all set, Jack. Thank you.
Okay, then Steve, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm new to virtual meetings, Jack. Sorry.
Well, you can feel free to come here anytime you want. But in any event, Steve, I think we were at the point of going to the contingency transfers, perhaps? Was that it?
Yes. Yep.
So why don't you pick up there?
Okay. So first was the approval of GCT 015, which is through wall flashing, height coordination, area D and F roofs. This was a detail related to block, brick, flashing, and our interpretation of it with the subs. So we had to add and adjust some flashing and work with the roofing manufacturer to make sure they were good with it. So that came in at $13,968. And that is a final number vetted out with Skanska and KBA. So we are seeking approval of that. And then there are 3 new ones as well.
All right, well, why don't we go with the approval? Anybody have any questions on that one? If not, Jackie?
Move to approve.
Terry?
Second.
Thank you. Jeremy?
All right, on GCT 015, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, passes unanimously. Okay, Steve, next on the agenda, approval of retainage releases.
Yes. So we have 2 related to the Western or Drummond Field.
Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. I jumped ahead. You were going to tell us about 17, 18, and 19?
Yep.
So
So
let's go back to that.
17, relieving angle at loading dock. There was an RFI earlier in the project that we never sent to the drywall sub, so they put a wall in an incorrect location. So there's an angle that's going to help with that situation. GCT 18, roof edge blocking, height coordination. This is working to make sure it aligns with the actual top of the roofing membrane on actually ABC and then some of the other roof edges. And then the last one, elevator door coordination, area B, changing from a center aligned door to a side aligned door in order to be able to fit a stretcher per code. And we're going to need to adjust unfortunately, some framing that in a door frame that was already installed. We have to shift the frame to get all our code clearances on 3 of the floors in ABC building.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about those? And obviously those are just estimate numbers, correct?
Correct. Nothing ready for approval yet.
Anybody have any questions? All right, hearing none, then I guess we can move on to retainage.
Yep. So like I was saying, a couple of are Western or Drummond Field related. Work is completed and these subcontractors have finished all or a portion of their punch list and it has been approved by KBA. There is still some work left that is monetized that is not including here to set aside for the subs that still have work to complete. NCI is the site subcontractor looking for a release of their retainage of $93,663.50. AstroTurf, $57,782.38. And then our structural steel subcontractor is about 99% complete with their work, seeking a retainage reduction from 5% down to 2.5%, which is a total of $297,773.96. So they still have 2.5 left for a little bit of work, and the outbuilding is a small scope of work as well. So in the next couple of months, we'll probably be looking to reduce from 2.5 to 0, but right now just 5 to 2.5 for them.
Okay.
Steve,
Mary
Steve, I have a
Ann,
question on that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Jack. Sorry to cut you off. So these retainage values, are these going to be included in your next pay application? They are not included in the one that's on the agenda for tonight, correct?
They are included in the one on the agenda tonight.
They are in tonight?
If you look at the, I gave you a, in the summary, Jeremy, it's down at the bottom and they're cost coded appropriately. So when you
Okay.
want to come with the pro pay, you should be all set.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So Mary Ann and Antoinette, are you recommending these reductions?
Yes.
Okay. And Craig and Joe, you're also recommending this?
Yes, we reviewed and approved. Yep.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? It sounds like it's Jackie time.
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. Jeremy?
On retainage, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, passes unanimously. Okay, next, Steve, it says the CRCT log.
Yeah, we already did that one.
Okay, so it's just the allowance log then?
Yep. Yeah, the only update on the allowance log is two things. One, structural steel, like I said, we're about 99% complete. And by utilizing a few different allowances, we're going to be covered there and remain under budget with respect to steel. And then hopefully April continues to stay warm, because if it does, we're going to be right at our projection for temporary heat for this winter, which means we preserve all the money that we set aside for next winter as well. So February was a little over, but then March was a little under, and April is trending in the right direction. So that'll be good news if we can continue to keep the heat either off or minimal use for the rest of the month. And then we'll simply get rid of it at that point.
So, and we still have $11.6 million remaining in contingency or allowances, I should say.
Yep.
In allowances, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Anybody have any questions for Steve on that? So let's ask Steve the question we ask every month. Are we on time and are we on budget?
Yes and yes.
Excellent. All right, do you have anything else for us?
No, I've done enough, Jack.
Okay. So next I'll call on Craig. Craig, do you have anything else to update us on?
At the moment, nothing.
Okay. So then I think we can go to Mary Ann and Jeanette.
So I'd just like to say, I think the project is more than know the project is going very well, and appreciate the participation that we have a very engaged design team as well as a construction manager, and it's a clean site. It's running really well. The quality of work, you'll see when you make the tour next month, is right where it should be. So I think everybody is getting their money's worth on this one.
And I'd like to add, we have a very engaged school building committee as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So Anjanette, do you have some numbers you want to share with us?
Do. Well, we have the invoices for this month that you can vote on after we get through this little summary here, but we have the Skanska invoice for $127,225, KBA's invoice for $114,310. We have Consigli's invoice for their contract work, as well as some of the change orders that were previously approved have been billed as well. In addition to that, down at the bottom, you can see the retainages that are paid to the subcontractors, the ones that were just reviewed and approved by the SPC to be paid. And then we also have some charges that were submitted by the city of Attleboro. These go back, I believe, to February and include costs for STV DPM, which is the move management company that we've hired, as well as material testing invoices for Intertech, which was window testing, and Briggs, all of which have been approved in previous meetings. I'm just catching up to the accounting. So all in all, we have invoiced to date $120,026,393. We have a remaining balance of $140,281,460. And we are at 46% complete with the project as of today. So does anyone have any questions as far as any of the values goes?
So that's 46% by dollar value.
That's correct.
But that of course includes soft costs and all sorts of other things. So it's not construction. What percentage of construction are we at? Is that actually 45 if I look at this?
Yes, it's 44.65, but it rounds it up. So that is accurate as well.
So we're right where we should be then.
We're exactly where we should be. We're in great shape.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions on this?
The one thing that I do want to note, Jack, is the owner's construction contingency. If you look over on your left, it's down at the bottom there. That number is reduced by the value of the change order. So you can see the GMP change order deducts.
Yep.
So that is just something that we had updated, and I think I have an error in my calculation here. I think that should be a little bit lower than that. But anyways, I'll make that adjustment and send that over. But that's how we're tracking where we are with the change orders as they come out of the contingency.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Anjanette? All right, then should we move on to paying the bills? I guess we should. Is there a motion to pay the 4 bills?
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, Jeremy?
All right, let's pay out the bills. Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, so that passes unanimously. So our next meeting is May 12th. For those of you who can, we will be there at 3:30 at the school, and Steve will be leading the viewing. We will do our best to be back here for 5:30 to commence the regular Zoom meeting and take care of the paperwork. The June meeting will be June 9th. So make sure you mark that down, everyone. And so there's nothing else on our agenda, but I will throw it open. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we conclude the meeting? Hearing none.
Sorry.
Rob has one.
Rob, go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, Jack. I wasn't sure if you could see my hand. just a quick question for Steve. I know we all know at this point there was a tragic breach of security on the site, and obviously we don't need the details of how that happened, but I think it would be helpful for the public to know that whether or not the security of the site has been updated and adjusted as a result.
Yeah, I don't think we want to say how necessarily it's been updated or adjusted, but Steve, do you want to talk in general?
Yeah, not at all what I'm asking, just confirmation that it has been.
To answer your question, yes, Rob. And there's a checklist that we go through every day that includes walking the perimeter of the fence. And we've done that every day. And actually a lot of times Skanska does the same thing. Mike Cullen does it. So we continue that, and we've made a few other upgrades that I don't want to get into a lot of details about, Rob, but we continue to maintain that we have a secure site, and if Skanska can attest to it as well, and KBA if they want to. Unfortunate that anything happened, right? But we think it's pretty tight at this point, and we're doing all that we can possibly.
So
Thank you.
Rob, if you need anything further, you can feel free to either call me or you can call Steve directly. We'd be happy to speak offline with a member of the school committee, but we prefer not to publicly detail steps that we're taking.
Absolutely, thank you. And I agree. I don't think it would be appropriate to go into any security details, but just something I think since we're tasked with overseeing the project on behalf of the city, just something I wanted to make sure I got asked and confirmed. So thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up tonight? Then a motion would be in order to adjourn at 6:21.
Move to adjourn at 6:21. Second.
Jeremy?
All right, to adjourn, Dave,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
and Jack.
Yes, we are adjourned.
Night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you
Night,
on
everyone.
site.
Good night, everyone.